While Joe Biden burns about 30,000 pounds of jet fuel to go to Ireland to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement with the UK Prime Minister, of course, Americans just saw another shooting in our nation's capital this time while still suffering the aftermath of yesterday's shooting. Now, look, I can sit here and I can tell you about it's happened in a gun-free zone, or that D.C. is making it pretty much impossible to legally own a gun, or that a good guy with a gun saved the day, or whatever else. But that's not the reason we're having these problems. It's not the reason this is happening. It's a symptom of the problem, but that we're going to get to, obviously, on 2A Tuesday today, but it's not the problem. This and nearly every other one of these styles of attacks, whether by a gun or a car or a pressure cooker, whatever, it happened because of a slip in societal values. We've traded dodgeball, calloused hands, and the nuclear family for, what, lattes, pronouns, we got participation trophies, Zoom meetings, and drag shows for, like, 5-year-olds. That's the real problem. It's our culture. It's being led straight off a cliff by a very small but a very loud sliver of society under the banner of oppression. Spare me. We live in a world where even if you are flat out broke, I should say we live in a country that even if you are flat out broke, you can get the same emergency care as anyone else. You likely have an iPhone, you probably have air conditioning. Our society is so star-spangled awesome that the primary health concern among those people below the poverty line is obesity here in this great country. So before you talk about how bad you have it, and you're hearing this from all over on the left, they should ask themselves, when was the last time they went hungry? Perspective. We have it so good that we just invent problems, and then we victimize ourselves. We're rewarded for this perpetual outrage, too. And then we're somehow confused that there's no value for rule of law or even human life. There's no consequences for anything anymore, especially not in our Democratic-held districts. Look at Tennessee lawmakers. They were expelled for blatantly breaking the House rules. They chose anarchy instead of being functioning members of the House that they were elected to, and then one just got reinstated. They even got invited to the White House for their, dare I say, insurrectionist actions. And we've made abortion basically an assembly line, celebrated by our pop culture class. We cancel timeless Christmas carols, while Cardi B, on the other hand, is singing about her private parts, and that's topping the Apple Music charts for weeks. We've created a culture that your level of outrage is somehow your level of justification to burn down cities to the cost of $2 billion. But if you're on the right side of the aisle, words are violence. If you disagree with our moral overlords on the left, you're the bigot. Yeah, they're talking to us. And if, God forbid, a champion female swimmer is angry that she lost to a dude, she doesn't have a First Amendment right to speak about it. You know, without getting kidnapped for ransom by a mob of social justice warriors. Right there, Riley Gaines just simply wants women to compete in women's sports. I mean, is this really a problem? Literally everybody should see this, especially from the party of women's rights. They sat silent and labeled a dude brave who literally broke a real woman's face. He used to go to jail for stuff like that. Now it's celebrated. That's just the tip of the iceberg, too. Men claiming to be women are now dominating women's sports. You see the headlines right there. But it took a generation, or maybe even more, to get here. So how do we get back to normal? And yes, I said normal, because what we're seeing now is not normal. It takes people like us. We got to step up at our local school boards, at our local elections, and our town meetings. We have to be the people we are waiting for. Stop waiting for someone else. Riley Gaines, a young woman herself, at great personal risk, mind you, is stepping up as the architect to a new bill in the House, a bill that will keep men out of women's sports at colleges and other public schools nationwide to save women's sports. The bill says that the sex of an athlete would be recognized only by their, quote, reproductive biology and genetics at birth. Noble concept, I know. Party of science, right? But we can pass all the legislation we want. But until we fix the actual issues, it's like sticking fingers in the dam. I think Ronald Reagan said it best.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.